Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it's time for a max effort upper day, but a quick reminder for those of you who watch these videos, please remember to click like down below, it would be greatly appreciated. But let's get over to the training. Alright, I decided today at the last minute to do a wider grip on the football bar. I did a quick ramp up to a training max, and like I said, my pressing should be coming up pretty good now. Now that I'm rebuilding some stuff, even though I've been cutting, I'm rebuilding some stuff. My shoulders are completely healthy again, no inflammation, no pain. I've completely rehabbed the impingement, so I feel like I can make progress here. And you guys are seeing me make progress on the rep work. So I just went for a good training max with this bar. I got 315 with a good pause. I consider going for another jump, but I'm like, oh, let's just play it safe. My calories are going to be slightly reduced in the coming weeks, so I don't want to push it too hard, right? Just trying to get some good training max above 90%. And I felt like that was above 90%, so we're good. After that, I went ahead and worked with the Buffalo bar for 3 sets of 10. I used the same weight that I worked with last time, but I got 8, 9, and then 10. I managed to get 3 sets of 10. It was extremely fatiguing to my pecs, though. I'm not going to lie, like when I got to the dumbbell work, I wasn't able to get what I had hoped for with dumbbells. But that's okay, because we got what we wanted with this. And we PR'd the dumbbell work the last couple times, so I thought I would PR it again. But again, every rep is paused, right? Every rep is paused. So on work like this, I'm focusing on doing that. I want to pause this stuff. And I'm a little bit torn after the dumbbells because I really want to use the dumbbells as a serious hypertrophy movement. But if they're fatigued on the max effort day by doing another press first, it makes it a little hard to track it workout to workout. But I also don't want to remove heavier long range of motion pressing like this. So I'll have to think about what I want to do on the next max effort day. Part of me wants to just replace the slot with the dumbbells and then do something like the McDonald bar. But I feel like I'm at a place right now where I probably shouldn't do that. I should just stick with wider grip benching and then do the dumbbells as a secondary. Even though I've already done a heavy single. So I think I'm going to keep it there that way. But again, I was tempted to do the other. But I don't want to remove that tension. Also on these today, again, this is 232 for 3 sets of 10 paused. So I'm going to try to keep working this up. I feel like if I can keep making progress on this bar, I need to. Because of the deeper range of motion. And if it stalls, I may switch bars. I may switch to something else in this slot. I can use a different bar, but I really like this one right now. And I'm not sure if working the McDonald bar into this slot would be ideal yet, because I'm a little worried about trying to reach near limit sets with it. But it's something to think about. Seal rows. These were just too light. I went ahead and bumped to 185 today, which is technically a PR for 10s for me on this lift, but it was too light. My back is getting strong again. And since I'm not doing chin-ups or pull-ups before I do these are a bit easier. So I went ahead and bumped it from 185 to 190 and then got 2 sets of 10 afterwards. I like these a lot. As far as feeling a lot of stuff through my back, feeling my entire middle and upper back, this exercise is probably the best one I've done. And actually, I feel the standing rows a lot too. To be honest, I feel more parts of my middle back on the standing rows than I do even on a pin lay. But this particular lift really seems to bring a lot to the table. And I don't want to throw out the bent over rows completely. I just want to make sure that my low back is recovering right now. But I may work standing stuff back in for phases, right? I might work it back in just for the potential deadlift carryover. But I feel like since I'm doing reverse hypers pretty much every day now for at least a couple sets for restoration work, I don't know that I need to do that. So all the chest supported stuff will really let me work on the middle and upper back in a way that will hopefully carry over to my bench more, with a little less concern for deadlift. But coming up, I may need to do some of the standing stuff just for the deadlift carryover. Because again, I want my deadlift to come up pretty quick in this phase. In spite of trimming down body weight slowly, I do want to bring my deadlift up. Now, the dumbbell presses, because I got 10s last time with 102-pound dumbbells, I thought I'd go up to 104s, right? It didn't go so well. I got 6 on the first set. I struggled to get in my groove, but also because I'm weaker. Last time I did these and I got the PR was on speed day. We did speed bench first. On this, I did a training max, and then I did that deep stretch work, and those were pretty much limit sets. right? I don't think I had another rep in the tank, maybe 1 rep in reserve on those sets of 10. So because of that, my pecs were extremely fatigued already. So these were harder. So I got 6, but then I got a little more fired up, cranked my music up, got 8 on the next 2. Got myself in tighter for the first rep also, so that we didn't have to try to get into position and struggle with it and bleed energy. But I got 8 and then 8 after that. So it did get a little bit better, but looking at this, I didn't get the 10s that I wanted. Which sucks because on speed day last week, we got 102 for 3 sets of 10. So I thought I'd be able to go up 2 pounds. That 2 pounds mattered, especially after having done other heavier pressing first. But I use the same dumbbells for these chest supported rows. And yes, I'm aware I'm doing these off of the floor, so I'm not getting a stretch, and I don't care. I'm fine with the dead stop stuff. It works. It hammers my back really hard. Probably a little less grip training, but I'm doing the dead hangs and stuff every day. So not super concerned with it, right? And my forearms and grip are pretty good. Right now, I think they're in a good place. You guys can see my forearms here from the side. They're in a good place. We know my triceps and biceps need more work than they do at this point. And my triceps need a lot of work. And we are doing a lot of work for triceps. That's one reason I'm doing restoration work for them, doing the band press downs. But I managed to get 3 sets of 10 on all of these with the heavier dumbbells. So I'm better on these right now than I am on the chest presses, right? Better at these. Of course, getting myself into the correct position is difficult. And I've had people who try to give me advice on that, but I'm like, it's not going to work with my benches. I mean, people are like, you could get higher up and you just got to get your pecs all the way up on the thing. And it's like, that's not going to work because I've got those rails and stuff in the way. I have to be able to get into that position. If it was a different design bench, maybe, but it's fine. Then I did my laterals. Went up to 35s today. We're getting about as loose as I'm willing to let the form get, though, on these. So the weight might need to sit. I'm not going to be able to increase the weight on these again. But I did 35s on these. I'm like, well, let me just do 35s on everything because I've been doing it on my other movements. And it ended up being a little more reps on the other exercises. But we did get 3 sets of 10 on the laterals. And so here's what I'm keeping in. I told you guys I'm going to cut the volume just a hair for recovery because, again, I'm going to be in a small deficit still. And I do need to be able to recover. So the volume needs to be kept reasonable, and that really needs to be something in the range of 6 to 7 sets per body part. Delts, it's hard to judge that because, again, front and rear delts on the pushing and pulling. So I'm just making sure that the side delts and that get extra work. So we're doing these and then bent over rows because they also work the side and rear delts quite effectively, just like these do. But these also work the front delts. So really my front delts and rear delts are getting probably more volume than anything else. But I'm cutting out one type of curl, one type of extension, and I'm going, where's the most bang for my buck? Where am I going to get my good stretch reflex stuff, right? What's going to be easiest on my joints, elbows, everything else. So I decided to keep in the dumbbell extensions. And I'm taking these pretty much as hard as I can go. Final set, I managed to get 13, and that was a limit set. So I felt like I had 1 rep in reserve on the first 2 sets with the 35s, so I squeezed it out and managed to get 1 more on the last set. So, this comes to basically around, not counting the max, right, about 6 good sets for triceps. Because we did 6 heavy presses, right? And presses usually I count as half sets for triceps, right? And this gave me 3 more, but then I'm also doing the high rep band press downs for restoration every day. And it's going to be the same thing when I get over to the curls. Rows are only half sets for your biceps. Now, brachialis, radial brachialis forearms are probably full sets because of the pronated nature and the heavier weight. Biceps are really only half sets. So after these, I went with the incline curls, which again, I want that deep stretch. I want that stretch reflex. I feel a lot of bicep activation on it. And it lets me work the whole bicep, and it does so in a way that will hopefully reduce risk of injury on mixed grip on deadlift. And again, we control that with a lot of other things also. But yeah, let me finish up the last set of the extensions here before we talk too much about the curls. So again, 13 reps on the final one. I probably need to bump the weight on these 2 exercises because if I'm getting 12 plus and I'm trying to stay around 10, we could stand to go up a hair. And these exercises are a little easier if I'm not doing a bigger movement first. Since I'm only doing one small movement for biceps and triceps after all the pressing and pulling, we should be good. And by limiting the volume like this, I'm staying in the optimal volume range. And people need to remember that we are in what all the data says is ideal. I'm just going to push each set hard. Each exercise needs to be pushed pretty hard because there's no real junk volume here. I need everything to be, within one rep of failure, like one rep in reserve at the most. And then some of these, the final sets, I'm trying to squeeze out one more. But on the incline curls, I hit failure, right? I got 12, 12, and then I thought I'd try to get 13 on the final set, and I could not. I hit failure, right midway through the rep. Couldn't do it. So again, we're picking pretty good weights for these. So I might, next workout, try to increase these slightly to get back down to 10. I just don't want to really risk going under 10 reps. And that's the thing that I need to think about. So I need to be careful with those weight bumps, because I want to kind of stay in that range. I don't want it to happen what happened with the dumbbells and hit 6 and 8. But again, incline curls, we get a stretch reflex. It lets us work the bicep through the full range of motion. It's one of the better bicep exercises. Like I'd say this, and straight bar curls are two of your best bicep exercises, just biomechanically based on EMG and every other study we've looked at. If you're going to do a single joint type exercise, although they're not really true single joint, if we're, again, using some shoulder flexion as well, right? Which I'm trying to do a little bit to make them not truly single joint. So again, we work both functions of the bicep, just like we do a little bit for the triceps, to try to get some long head involvement. But again, I like that stretch reflex. I'm doing a lot of stretch reflex type movements, right? Particularly for some of these muscles that need to grow. Because again, stretch reflex has a great growth response. So everything is pretty much a stretch reflex or a dead stop other than the laterals, because we don't really have a choice there. You can't really put them into those positions. And then I finished up with bent over flies, which some people call them bent over laterals, rear delt flies, whatever you want to call them. I used the 35s. Again, I am using just a little body English, but I can go pretty heavy on strict ones too. We've seen seated bent over. But again, using the same dumbbells, I got 12s also. Got 12s also on these. So that's how many reps I was able to get. So I feel like on these, if I increase the weight on the other movements, besides the side laterals, or the lateral raises, whatever you want to call them. People get mad when I call them side laterals. They actually are like, why do you do that? I'm like, my generation called them that. Deal with it. Some people said that before. Oh, Rich Piana used to call them that too. Yeah, because was in his 40s when he died. That's what we called them. Get over it. Not a big deal, guys. But overall, pretty happy with the workout today. Everything went great. Felt great other than just the dumbbell stuff. I was hoping to get 10s with that weight today, and I couldn't. But everything else went good. I'm happy with all of it. Happy with how I felt. So nothing but positive stuff to say, really. So I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.